Ladies and gentlemen, your hosts, Michael Wilkes, Angel Ortiz, Dr. Chad, and Sam La Cavera. Go check out beardedbrowns.com and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe. Enjoy the show.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Bearded Browns podcast. Sometimes, guys, when I watch this team, I either it takes my breath away or it leaves me speechless. And this week, it did both. It did both. From costly mistakes to missed opportunities. And again, more missed extra points and field goals. It just left me numb from the head to the toes. Another game where I felt like we beat ourselves more than Cincinnati beat us. And guess what, guys? It stung a little bit. But if you step back a little bit, guys, I think we can see some light in the midst of this darkness. And we're going to break it down for you today. Hopefully leave you a little positive than you did coming home Sunday from the game. We're going to get into that, plus NFL news, the return of the good, bad, and the ugly, one of my favorite segments. We're going to do a game recap, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the next week's matchup against the Ratbirds. But we're here, Mike, Chad. Let's get into some news. Big news happened today in the Muni Lot. Well, this past Sunday in the Muni Lot, somebody got married. You guys see that? I mean, it was all over the news. So if you missed it, you must have been a hermit crab.
Yeah, they showed it in the Browns actual during like the pregame, like around the coin toss, and they kind of showed it, and that was pretty fun. Brown Spider is somebody that I have almost constant conversations with every week since I started taking over our Twitter. He's always like he's a pretty fun presence on social medias to talk to, and he's just been around for a long time. So it's pretty funny to see that they actually pulled that off.
Yeah, he's definitely a good follow on X if you guys want to follow him. Brown Spider Cleveland, aka Charles Bevel, and the First Lady, aka Desiree Wheeler, got married in the Muni Lot this past Sunday. Do you know who married them?
No, I
do not.
Webster Slaughter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's a ordained minister, and he married them.
For the younger audience, that is a former Browns wide receiver.
Yeah, former Browns wide receiver.
Probably right up there on the level of Eric Metcalf with childhood favorite players from the early 90s.
Number 84.
You know what would have made that day so much better for them? It was a win.
Yes.
No, oh my God.
It was a win. It started off great for them, and then it just went downhill for them.
I have a close friend, and he was the producer on my previous show. He got engaged at one of the Browns games on the field. He was able to go out earlier to propose, and I'm pretty sure that they lost that game also.
Don't do that at Browns game.
That's such a bummer.
Yeah, so shout out to them and congrats to them getting married, doing it where they actually met. I read a little bit of the story. That's where they met a couple of times at Browns games at the Muni Lot. So those who are single, ready to mingle or ready to settle down, maybe head up to the Muni Lot not the Sunday after next home game against Green Bay. Maybe you'll find somebody that you can tighten out with. All right?
Just saying, if you're looking for love, the Browns just bring us all together.
Yeah. That's about it.
Yeah, that's about it. We just love them. All right, on to some show stuff. But guys, guess what? It's back. I'm excited that it's back. It's one of my favorite segments of the show. It's an in-season segment, so we don't do it outside the season because it won't make sense. But it's back. The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, yeah. Here it is.
Yeah, we didn't really discuss who's going to...
So, yes. Yeah, sorry about that. That was my fault. I'm still fixing stuff from Sunday's show that we had, and I just
totally fine. Who wants to take the first one? I will say, as I put like the outline together, this was one of the easiest good,
Easy.
bad, and uglies that I've ever put together for one of our shows. Like this one seemed like such a lock. So, yeah. So
I'll do the bad.
I'll go first then. Good. We figuratively beat the poop out of a good team, and we beat them. Like if you go under any ESPN app, the score app, and you look at the statistics and like cover up the score, you say, "Oh, the Browns like won by like triple digits," but it didn't work out that way for us. So we beat them all over. It's just we'll get into it more, but just a couple mistakes, man, that cost us the game, and it made a lot of people pretty upset. But yeah, we beat them.
Yeah, I mean
you
to
didn't show
give
up
them
didn't show up in the win-loss column like that, but you're right. Like you're phrasing it as like we outplayed and we beat up a team that everyone thinks is probably a playoff team. So
Yep.
nice.
to give them 17 yards throughout the whole second half, it's insane to see the numbers and still come out with an L. That's what
All right,
that was a big bummer.
Give us the bad, Mike.
The drops killed the offense. Obviously, they led to interceptions as well. So that was the biggest factor in this game. The drop passes that were catchable, and just wound up being interceptions. We can't do that. That's a no, man. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, what's scary about the drops is Judy was kind of known for dropping the ball in Denver, and he kind of went away from it last year. I'm hoping it doesn't wreak his ugly head this year, but we'll worry about that next week if it happens.
And then to me, the ugly was just exactly like there was mistakes, but we statistically like just dominated most phases of the game with the Bengals, and then losing a game by 1 point when you missed 2 kicks and left 4 points on the board is just the ugliest way to lose in the NFL. And that's why sometimes it's hard to differentiate like what's bad and what's ugly. This is going to be over every single recap show. They're going to mention the Browns just physically dominated the Bengals, and the Bengals won the game because the Browns left just 4 points on the table. Chip shots. All of us would feel different if he missed a 54-yard kick and we didn't win the game. What was that? These were easy kicks that you could have put nice height on. He could have had good aim on without rushing them, and you put yourself in a situation where we have to wonder everything about this team because they lost and the season starts off on such a bad note. And even though there's other things that we'll get to later, if you just make your kicks the only job you have on the team, then you win. And we're coming off a year where we lost games because we had a bad kicker who consistently missed. Now we brought in another kicker to replace him because it looked like
the same
he
thing.
didn't pull it together. And we immediately missed 2 out of the 4 attempts. And now you're stuck with no idea what to do at kicker.
I came home from the event and I was like, Isaac, turn the game on. For everybody that knows, my stepson is a Cincinnati Bengals fan. So he's quick to turn it on and see the outcome. And I've never wanted to throw a kid out of my house so bad in my life.
Yeah, my brother.
That's a rough situation, my man.
My younger brother too. He's a Joe Burrow fan. He texted me, "Hey, who won the game?" I didn't respond. It's like,
this is the look I got. Watch. This is it.
He's smiling.
We're in a situation where like we have a lot of Browns fans that are in like the Columbus area, and those guys really like Joe Burrow. I went to Ohio University, and everybody I know there, that's where Burrow went to high school because because his dad was a coach at OU. And so I just have such a network of people that aren't strictly Browns fans who just became a fan of Joe Burrow, and that leads a lot of people to kind of dual citizenship or just, being on the fence and like to we've won our good share of matches over the time Joe Burrow has been there, but our big calling card was we're 6-4 against the Bengals in the last 5 years, and now we're 6-5.
Flip.
Stay up. And we talked about it over the last since 2010, 29. So since about 2010, that era, the Bengals were 6 games or 7 games ahead of the Browns, and now they move up to 8 games over that time span ahead of the Browns, and that's in the all-time record between the Browns, and like we're supposed to be clawing ourselves out of that, and then to go another game deeper behind this, like
There were so many
generic
things to be optimistic
Browns team.
about this week. Going into this week, we had so much optimism, not as much skepticism as normal, I guess. It was I was awestruck when I seen it happen right in front of my eyes. I'm like, you can't be serious, man. Like, I yelled laces out, Dan, like 7 times, I think. And not that it's go ahead.
It's fine to be optimistic when you're going up against this team because we are a matchup problem and we have a good history competing our defense against our offense. And there was a lot of reasons for somebody like me who's like thinks we're going to win 5 games this season. This would have been one of them. I think I picked a range to be 5 to 7. This was going to be one of them. So now we're probably in that 5 to 6 range because I thought this could be one of the games. And it was because of the matchup problem. It was because the Bengals start slow, which they did again. They put up 17 points. And so I always think Browns fans are like homerly optimistic to start every season. I don't think it was optimistic to think you could win this one. And the more reason people were counting on winning this one is the rest of the slate for this next like 4 or 5 looks brutal. So you really hoped to win this one because you don't want to find yourself in a hole where you're like 0-5.
Yeah. Yeah, it stunk. Oh yeah, it was a horrible thing. A lot of pluses though. We're going to get into it, but we're about to get into the game recap. But before we do that, I want to
Therapy Tuesday. We all vented why it sucked to lose.
Let's just get
right?
it
We don't
off
wanna
our
do that the whole time.
chest.
Yeah.
Game recap is brought to you by our new sponsor, Lego Heads Saloon. Lego Heads Barber Salon. It's located in Berea, Ohio, 1344 West Bagley Road, Berea, Ohio. Go there, get your beard trimmed, just like me and Mike did this past weekend. Your hair cut, and you'll feel leaving like a brand new man. You like that hot towel, didn't you, Mike? That hot towel.
That thing was amazing. I haven't had that in about a decade. Also, before we move along, I want to thank everybody that came out to our event this weekend. We had a blast. It was a great time. The breakfast was good. The food truck was awesome. Marlon came on the show for a little bit. That was fun. We gave away the Cleveland ketchup box. For everybody that was wondering what was in the box, there was obviously ketchup and mustard and a hat. But thank you to our sponsor as well, Cleveland Mustard or Ketchup, for sending that out. We appreciate you guys. But yeah, it was fun. We stayed until about halftime. The raffles were amazing. That was a good time.
Doug White, your aunt was out there getting out free beer for people to sign up quotes. You sign quote, you sign up for a quote, you get free beer. It was pretty.
I was throwing All-State sippy cups at people.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was fun, man. It was a fun thing. We'll probably be doing it again. Probably try a road game. We'll let you guys know. So drop by if you're in. Once you hear the info, set the calendar for that date. That'll be great. But let's get into the game recap. First, we're going to start off with the defensive side. Rookies, guys. The defensive rookies. What do you guys? What can we say about our defensive rookies?
I mean, we're gonna have a lot of things to say about a lot of these rookies. I had posed it a little bit earlier as like you did see them out there. They did make an impact. You might have not seen the kind of like splashes you would have seen with the offensive rookies because it's just an easier thing to highlight. But Mason Graham was absolutely impactful throughout that game on the defensive line, and maybe even more so. Carson Westinger actually did have a highlight play or two. Man, that guy he carried over practice to preseason to the game without any problem. And for all people want to say about, well, it's just the Bengals, like the Bengals' problem is they don't have a very good defense. Their offense is pretty good. And for anybody online arguing with me, like they don't have the greatest offensive line, well, that didn't seem to keep them from being the number 1 passing team last year and the number 6 overall offense in the league. And they only got better on the offensive line. So don't excuse that as if they were a trash offense that we should have dominated. Like they still find a way to put up 30 points a game. I think last year their average was like 26.8 points. It's
Yeah.
very good. And the rookies being able to go out there in game one, those two specifically, we also saw a little bit out of Aiden Huntington, and make impact on in the first game of a season. That's guys, we got some youth and talent on this team, and that is pretty exciting.
I do love all the rookie moves that we made, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Carson Schlesinger, my jersey actually came today, but I'm wearing Ralph Holly's jersey because he is back in the land. Ladies and gentlemen, Ralph Holly is back. He's on a practice squad for now, but look forward to seeing more of him in the future here, I'd imagine. But yeah, Schlesinger, man, that guy is a force to be reckoned with. Mason Graham, we talked about it before. Pressures are huge in this league, and that's what he's going to cause havoc. You can't double team him and Miles and Aiden. There's just no way. So good luck, guys.
Yeah, I think the first drive, the two rookies kind of get their jitters out, because there's some things that people, that you can saw maybe they were excited. You could tell the jitters were there. But after that first drive, things settled down and they just dominated. Miles was able to get loose a couple of times, and you have to thanks. Nice hat. Yeah, this is from State Farm. Allstate, sorry.
Yeah, we just lost that sponsor.
Allstate Insurance. Yes, it's a nice hat. I took it from Mike Sam.
That's his old company, just so everybody knows. Now
it's an Under Armour hat.
Allstate up here.
Allstate. My bad.
My wife's laughing in the background. I can hear it.
Well, I was in the middle of getting new insurance quotes, and they were one of the ones that they stuck in my head. Nonetheless, yeah, their rookies, they look good, man. Miles was able to get free because of the attention they were giving to exactly what it played out to be, right? You can't double team both guys, and then friggin' you even have other people coming off the edge making plays. McGuire got a sack because all the attention started shifting over to Graham and Miles. So the offensive lines from this point forward are going to have issues with this defensive front. So it's going to be exciting to see them grow and continue to get even better. Speaking of Miles, let's talk about the Miles and that defensive line as a whole.
Hold on, before we move on, can I make one quick comment on Carson Schlesinger?
Definitely.
For those of you that, there was other players on this defense that were really good. We're going to get into them. It's worth mentioning that as of the finishing of grading on PFF, Carson Schlesinger, as a rookie, second-round pick in his first game, was the 5th highest rated rookie linebacker in the NFL. Yes, this weekend, 5th in his first game ever. And guys, we've been watching JOK, who is one of the most outstanding linebackers in the league. And even as a rookie, that guy was not finishing in the top 10 for linebackers.
He grew into JOK.
Finishing 5th in a game against the Bengals offense where they have talent everywhere. Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. They've got good tight ends.
Good at tight ends, yeah.
Him finishing with a 90 blue PFF score is friggin' incredible. And there's a lot of other Browns that did really well, but it just stands out to me that he could have been so good so early. And I just can't say enough about how impressive of a pick that is, and one that I never saw coming.
Yeah, Schwartz doesn't give a lot of praise to a lot of people. He's kind of like low key about it, but he has been on Carson's praise side as much as he can praise without overdoing it. But yeah, Carson.
Did you guys see when he hit Dylan Sampson at camp? And it was a complete. Yeah. I don't want to say an accident. He's obviously in the moment, but when he smashed Dylan Sampson at camp, even Dylan was like, "Man, I forgive the guy, but dude could hit."
Yeah,
take it.
Browns. We talked about it on the show Sunday. It was one of those things where it was one of those picks where people are like, "Who's this dude?" And now people are like, "Yeah, let me go buy his jersey real quick." So it totally flipped on it.
That feels like a very safe jersey to pick, and I'm not one for picking rookie jerseys, but there has not been a negative thought about this kid coming out of camp. He's just been like I said, practice is one thing, stepping it up in preseason is another. Actually doing it in reality in real NFL football games, especially this early. He's wearing the green dot. The guy's a captain already. Like, give me a break. Like,
He's not a
Yeah.
captain yet. He's
well, I'm
not a
sorry.
captain, but
He's
he
the
is
he's the
He's a
defensive
Mike,
play caller.
defensive play.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes, but that's huge for a rookie. How many rookies do you think come in with a dot? Not many.
Not
Not
many.
many at all.
And
Yeah.
not many scoring 5 in their position group the first week. It just doesn't happen.
Right. Diamond in the rough. JOK sent his gods in for Andrew Berry to pick Carson Schlesinger. Simple.
Yeah. So yeah, the Miles and the rest of that line, man, they look pretty fresh. They didn't seem tired. As the game went on, it seemed like they still had their legs to apply pressure. And then when it mattered most, they got 3 sacks in a row. It's 3 sacks in a row at the goal line. There should have been a safety. Someone was holding.
Joe
Somebody was
Burrow.
holding.
No, Joe Burrow. You got to give him athleticism for that jump over the goal line, man. That was
somebody was holding over it. I'm telling you, if you look back to tape, somebody
Listen,
was holding. It should have been.
You
a
ever
safety.
seen the movie Angels in the Outfield when the Angels
Of course,
pick up
man.
the
My
kid?
name is Angel. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
My
true.
name
Good
is Angel.
story.
Come on.
Well, when the Angels pick up
It's
the
about
guy
me.
and they make the catch, that's what happened to Joe Burrow that day. The Angel was there. He picked him up right
Yeah,
on the
he
goal
did.
line.
But yeah,
There was Angels all over their outfield, and I don't know if they befriended the Pope or whatever, but the Bengals made plays all over the field that were like miracle plays that I feel like they
Yeah.
could try 10 times in a row and get none. That's crazy.
Yeah, that defensive line was insane. Even McGuire had a great game. Devin Bush even had a good game. Alex Wright, Miles, the whole line. Grant Delp, he's a secondary. They all had pretty good games, man. That makes you excited, right? You kind of like, man, if they would have done what we're going to talk about later, you would have felt better about this team if things would have worked out a little differently, because that defensive line is just going to dominate.
Think about it. It is week 1. I think we're off to I'm not even going to say a slow start, guys. It's week 1. There was a lot of weird games this
It
week
was a
that were
mid
really
start,
close.
I think.
Yeah,
right?
I'm not going to say it was a bad start, just kicker issues, and we're not the only team that had kicker issues this weekend.
7 missed kicks this weekend, but we'll rant on the kicker later because
2 was ours.
own
Were
topic.
ours.
2 were ours.
But yes.
Yep.
Another
note on the defense, because I could go through a bunch, but also the other rookie that we were talking about for the Browns defense, Mason Graham, also finished with the 32nd best score. Now that's not 5th overall, but for a defensive lineman, he was the 32nd best ranked defensive lineman in the game. Malik Collins was 29, and I expect and that's not the edges, that's just interior. I expect as the season goes on, we're going to see his name continually in the top half of the league.
A little more numbers that came out for them. Browns defense was 5th in the NFL in average time to pressure, 2.49 seconds to get to the quarterback. That's pretty quick. That's something I like. I like that. I would like to see that at 2.3, but 2.49 is really good. 4th highest sack.
2.49.
Yeah, I'd say 2.49. But I want them to be a little quicker. I'm greedy. I'll take 2.49 every week though. I can't complain.
No, I think Joe Burrow went in there knowing that he had to get rid of the ball quick.
He was getting
that's what
ball.
he was
Yeah.
doing. He was doing that well.
Quick. That's why they couldn't throw the ball deep.
And that's how they've adjusted to not having an offensive line this whole time. Is they run routes that are set up for yak, and they get the ball into the hands of Chase Brown, their tight ends. Who's the third down back?
Higgins.
P. Ryan, who's like very good in that role, and they know how to deal with some of their past offensive line issues. That's not new, and they game planned for it. And just one more point I wanted to bring up about our defense against their offense. It was talked to me all week about how they have a slow start. They knew they have a slow start. Both the coaching and Joe Burrow recognized they needed to amp up practice, increase hitting, play more preseason, and do everything they can to come out a little bit faster.
They didn't.
Well, they got themselves a win, one of the first wins they've had in week 1 in a long time. But this wasn't like the normal Bengals that just sit everybody for the entire preseason, or Joe Burrow's coming off a calf or some injury, and that's why they started slow. Like, this team was ready to go. So
Yep.
I think we competed with them in a position where they didn't have any disadvantages like they have had in the past, where like Joe Burrow misses all of camp with a calf strain like he did 2 years ago, and he can barely move for the opener. Like, that was not the case this week.
I was a healthy Burrow.
a healthy
Also, a little
team.
more,
Yep.
yeah, a little more about the defensive line. 4th highest sack percentage at 10.7. 6th best run stuff percentage at 26.1. They gave up zero runs over 10 plus yards, allowing the least rushing yards in week 1. That's
When you
your
say that,
defensive
I
line.
immediately think back to and Devin Bush had an incredible game also. I think he was ranked
Yeah, he did. He was
7th or
top
8th in
three.
PFF.
Yeah,
But I just immediately, you say no runs over 10 yards, and all my head can go to is Schlesinger, Bush. Like,
yep.
they just
Stuffed
did
it.
not let anything pass them. Not like it is a very different thing. Like, they were able to run on us, but we did not get beat up by the run like we have in the past, where they're coming after us. We're just going to run throughout this whole game. Like, that was not happening this time. First drive,
The
sure.
first drive, but they adjusted. Yeah.
Yeah, everything after that, not happening.
Yeah, friggin' Schwartz was there barking at them when they got up. How do you let this dude run up the middle? And they adjusted well. Let's move on to the secondary, which by all means is probably the shocker for me, how well they did, specifically Newsome. Really,
And they've done it before, but like we said, there's been times where Burrow has been hindered or Higgins was injured, or like there's been things. This time they went against their full arsenal. They have 2 tight ends who can catch the ball. They have 2 running backs who can catch the ball. They have maybe arguably the best receiving duo in the league. And they went out there and they did work.
Yeah, Newsome had a great game. Usually in Sunday, I was talking about Sunday in the pregame, how they target him because he was the weakest link out of them between him and Ward, and how T. Higgins, when he's covering T. Higgins last year, he was like 7th best. And whenever he went against the other guy, he was like top 4. So I'm like, man, really worried about Newsome, but Newsome stepped up, man. He has some pass breakups too that were pretty big. That a lot of people kind of change your mind. Like, maybe Newsome needs to be re-signed.
Maybe I've been telling people that for so long, and I'm so glad he at least, like, it's early, but I'm so glad he had a good performance now, because he's one of those guys that I've been telling Browns fans to chill on for years, because he came out, he started his career really well. He looks good as an outside corner and pretty consistently has when he's been healthy. But it was bringing in Emerson, who's just as good as him outside, but not good inside, slid Greg Newsome inside, where he's just a little bit less valuable, and it turned a lot of Browns fans against him. And I think a lot of it has to do with he was a first-round pick, so they expect him to be Denzel Ward, even though he was picked 20 picks later. And it's always bothered me that Browns fans will not give Greg Newsome a chance, or will not accept, like, he's playing slot. That's not his most ideal position in corner. And we saw him today when he went back outside. He went right back to being like a starting good A-level player. He ranked on PFF 13th out of 96 eligible corners, which is very good. And the statistics you laid out, like he covered both receivers. Higgins is a bigger body and a tough matchup for corners. Jamar Chase is maybe the all-around best receiver in the entire league. And I think when he was covering Chase, people were like, why doesn't Ward
shadow
Chase? When he was covering Chase, he covered Chase for like 10 plays. He was targeted 3 times, had 0 catches. I'm not going to – there's a lot of things to complain about today, guys. Not shadowing Jamar Chase.
Did he get pass interference called on him in the near the end zone when he was running with him like this? I missed that part.
Yeah, that was a PI call.
There was one of them, and I honestly thought that was a terrible call, because they were both kind of equally.
They weren't touching each other. He was running like this, trying to block the ball from behind. Like
earlier on, there was, I thought on the call earlier on, they were both like kind of like interhand fighting or something, but not with either one of them like driving it sort of equally. And I thought that was like, we got plenty of calls, so I don't like to complain about calls. But that one, I was like, I mean, come on,
Yeah.
man. If you're not gonna let them touch each other, or you're just gonna put that on the defensive player alone, like that did not feel like a good call.
Yeah.
Overall,
The
like he looked great.
secondary allowed between the two top receivers five receptions for 59 yards. That's all day. Take it. I'll
Teams
take
are
it all
watching
day.
that. Teams are watching that, and they're dissecting what did the Browns do to stop this Bengals offense, because
You need two good
that's incredible.
corners. Start
Mhm.
there.
Yep.
Also,
again-
True Media pumped out a stat that the Browns played the third highest man coverage at 40.6% in week 1.
Good. That's what these two corners are good at. Denzel Ward didn't have his best PFF game, but he had a really good statistical game. Grant Delpit had a great game
Yeah, he had a good game.
statistically
Yep.
on film and on PFF, and Greg Newsome had a great game. And we all kind of saw Ronnie Hickman appear in a couple clutch plays too. So I think between those 4 guys, that is a group. If they stay healthy, the depth is a problem. If they stay healthy, they're not going to have many matchups better than the one we just had.
No, I agree. It's gonna be fun to watch them play and grow together, because that's just the first game, like Mike said. Just wait until, if they stay healthy, of course, how they gel together, because you still got rookies still learning. I mean, people
Yeah,
are
you're going to
still
see
learning.
them mesh better week in and week out. That's going to be a thing.
That's going to be
without
insane.
injury.
Yeah, without injury, for sure. Let's move on to the offense, which is brought to you by Bearded Bastard Barbecue Sauce. Go to beardedbastardbarbecuesauce.com and get some barbecue sauce. Get some taco sauce. Get whatever type of sauce they have, and
It's
they have
all
rub.
good, man.
Yeah, they even have rub there. Use the code Bearded15 to get 15% off your order. First, we're going to start off with the most important position in the NFL, quarterback.
I'm going
Flacco.
first. I'm so glad the quarterback controversy is over. We know who the quarterback is. It's Joe Flacco. Damn, that dude showed up this week. He looked pretty damn good for a 40-year-old guy. I'm not going to complain about it. I'm not mad. Joe Flacco's here. Until next week. All right, you guys
just
go.
said my favorite thing. So I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was Gabby, who had mentioned, who had tweeted earlier. Is it even possible anymore to mention Joe Flacco's performance without saying for a 40-year-old? And I responded with, yes, if you're talking about him from before now, because it is, how else do you not like clarify or like put that as an extra on that? So
That
yeah,
is
it's
not
pretty-
Angel's wife saying that. That's his daughter. Sorry.
Okay, I was like,
I shouldn't. I'm pretty sure that's your daughter. I hope.
it's my daughter. My wife just said something that's a little
Sorry.
rated R.
I am sorry, Chad. You're right, though. It's a 40-year-old guy that showed up to ball this week.
Yeah,
My
I mean,
only
go ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say my only concern is how long will that last throughout the season? We got
not
a lot
long
of
if
games.
they make him throw 45 times.
Yep,
a
that's
game.
exactly.
That's where I was going to get at. Not only that,
Yep.
we got the last 5 games are pretty big coming up. They're all AFC North games and pretty damn good teams. So that's my biggest concern is how long could Joe Burrow, Joe Hio, how long could Joe Flacco legitimately last as a quarterback on a team in the AFC North? That's my biggest question. But we'll wait and find out, right?
Yeah, he took 2 sacks. I can't see how many times he got hit, but fumbles, I didn't say. But yeah, he did good. The interception's not his fault. Maybe his fault depending on who you ask, because of the pass should be a little higher, right? Nonetheless, he did good. He put him in a position to win. That's what you need to do as a quarterback. So he's driving. Judy drops a ball. Fannin drops a ball. Tip pass, interception. So all that stuff, not his fault. I expect him to clean all that up. The only thing I feel, and maybe I was overthinking this as we were sitting there at JB's Tavern watching it. I feel like this offense is still, what's the term I'm looking for? Not together yet. Yeah, no, not together. It's not. It has no flow. It didn't seem very easy that's the word. It's not easy. It seemed like they're fighting still for every yard. And that
Yeah.
could be the lack of limited reps. Flacco still has to get comfortable. The connection, the chemistry still probably needs to be there. But I noticed that it wasn't effortless yet, like it was in 2023 when Flacco came in. It just seemed like it was just
I
organic.
agree with James. That the offense just doesn't have its identity yet. Is probably partially true.
Yeah,
Um,
it could be the run
and
game. Yeah,
and
Well,
yeah,
we
and,
know the
and
tush push didn't work.
maybe it's a little bit reps. I mean, he's been in his 18th year. The guy can step right in it, but it also, I think it might more come down to like that is like they haven't exactly. This is not the offense they expected, and now they are or planned on, and now they're pivoting, and they did an okay job of it.
yeah,
I will put the clarification in there that the Bengals defense is, at least we expect it to not be good. They have some good pass rushers and they can get after the quarterback, and they're not completely inept. They've got a couple good players, but as a whole, their offense is not good. And I guess to take the negative side of it, and I can see it both ways. To take the negative side of it, you're not going to be good if you put up 17, 16 points a game. And for everybody that's blaming this on the kicker, yes, if the kicker makes his kicks, we probably win.
20.
But 20 points, 20 points. That's still not like some blowout game. And this
Yeah.
was against a pretty mid defense. So the Browns need to find ways going forward to move forward with this offense. Again, we talked about it a little bit. We're going to talk about the kicker. This particular game is his fault. I can't help but wonder with Joe Flacco, and I guess the way to phrase it without insulting Joe Flacco is if you swapped Joes and the Browns have Joe Burrow on this team, do you lose by a point or do you win by 20? Because I think Joe Burrow smokes the Bengals, and we're not talking about we missed 2 kicks and we lost. We're talking about, man, we missed 2 kicks and we still won by 17. Like,
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, this is just,
In a perfect
I want to
world.
think of right. Yeah, and I guess I would just say too, like, this is what we have right now, though, and the other 2 quarterbacks on the bench are not better options right now. I don't think anybody believes that. Joe Flacco finished this game tied for 16th in PFF score.
Middle
You can
pack.
tell if you could tell me that Joe Flacco is going to be about 16th, give or take
Yeah.
a spot or 2 for the rest of the season,
I'll take
I'll
it.
play him all 17 games. Like,
Yeah.
I will
Yeah.
take a number 16 quarterback on this roster at that age and with the young guys on this team who need to develop and stay like enthusiastic around him. You give me 15, 16, 17 Joe Flacco for a season. If you could guarantee that, I'm not as worried about the Bengals game because we will win other games. My
Yep.
worry is he doesn't maintain this level and we're in deep doo-doo.
See, one thing I find encouraging is that we're gonna get into it later. The running back Judkins is coming back.
Get into it now.
Okay, yeah. So
Do
the
it.
rookies. Let's talk about the rookies. So Judkins is rumored to come back after the Baltimore game, not this week, next week. That is
They
the
did that on
latest rumor.
purpose because Baltimore's afraid. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So I think once you add Judkins to this mix, I think Flacco then doesn't throw 45 times, so he limits the opportunity to get hurt, and you limit the opportunities for tip passes or interceptions. So I think that's eventually going to balance out. But let's talk about the rookies that actually played.
Hold on
Because
for a second. Before you get onto them, I just wanted to mention, like you had mentioned, that the offense didn't look quite defined yet. And Mike had mentioned, like, yeah, they just, that just is off. It's not the guy you
That's
just
it.
talked about, I think is the biggest difference.
100%.
They
Yeah.
planned to come in with an offense that they could pound the ball and play action. And the Bengals never stacked the box, which made it tougher for Joe Flacco throwing. And the Bengals, if Quinshon Judkins had not had the August drama
Issue.
that he had, and he had gotten in and played, I say the Browns win this game because the Bengals have to play defense
Yes.
very different And we didn't lose this game because of running backs, but we could have won this game with a running game.
Yep.
And that guy helps it. The fortunate thing is we did have at least one running back out there who does
And
look like he's a beast.
he is this dude. I didn't expect him, maybe because the preseason was quiet for him, to come out and look. By the way, shout out to Kevin. Kevin comes out throwing or giving the ball to 3 straight rookies, right?
Yeah.
That was
Bonds,
nice to see.
Samson,
And we got a couple
Fanning.
first downs.
And we got
Yeah.
first downs. He said, listen, we're going to set the tone early with the youth, and it was set. So shout out to Kevin for the balls for that. I'm sure the defense wasn't expecting that either, by the way. So shout out to Kev for that. I mean, and a lot of people are questioning Kevin. Y'all need to pat him on the back for that, because we were at JB's and we were like, wait, 3 straight rookies got 3 straight throws. That was pretty cool. But yeah, Samson lit it up. Surprised me a lot. Bouncing off tackles like a ping pong ball, getting extra yards. Dude is everything that a dual threat running back can look like. He is fancy. I just want to call him fancy. He is a Ferrari waiting to happen. And just wait until you get his counterpart next to him, because you have him both in the background. Who's going to get the ball? You don't
Some
know. It
people
could be
are
thunder.
worried
It
about
could be
that.
lightning. It could be a
Some
punch.
people are
It
worried
could be a
about that.
slap.
Like,
Right. They're gonna have to.
I think they just complement each other.
Yeah.
I think Samson is more dangerous if Ford isn't the lead back. I think Samson's more dangerous if Quinshon is out there doing one thing and Samson's out there doing a different thing, whether he's catching it or running. I think if Judkins is the guy pounding that defensive, if our offensive line can start to get more push and Judkins is pounding the ball, late in a game to try to take it over, but also just early in the game to kind of establish the run, and then you're switching to a totally different weapon in Samson. I think that makes Samson even more dangerous, even if he ends up with less touches total. And he didn't run the ball well. He had like 29 yards on so many carries, and it wasn't a good yard per average, and he didn't blow it away. But
I can tell
he
you
had
why.
64 yards on 8 catches, and if you can get if you can get a guy who catches 8 out of 8 targets for 64 yards out of the backfield and can show some movement in the open field, so you can run him on
Jet
some
sweeps.
or some sweeps or
Sam's
even just some
favorite.
like counters where you can get him in past the first line over to the linebackers. Good luck.
Watch out.
Not only that, guys. Listen. So imagine him in the backfield, because he's able to find holes. He was able to do that very well, I thought.
He's
this week.
small too, so you can kind of
Right.
can't
But
see
not
him.
only that,
Yeah.
Harold Fannin Jr. is a blocker, a huge blocker. So when you see him in there and he's running off to the right or the left, watch Harold Fannin block. Just watch Fannin's blocks. You guys will be impressed. And that also leads to Njoku being out there as well. Njoku can get out there, get open. If you got a play action pass, get Njoku wide open real quick. Boom. There's a lot that could happen with this offense.
Yep.
They just
And
need
Joku
to
could
gel.
have had a better game, but he showed in a couple of those big, like, bruising catches where he remains a weapon for this team. But since we're talking about the rookies and you brought up Fannin, I mean, Samson had an incredible game. He was nominated for Pepsi Zero Sugar NFL Rookie of the Week for Week 1, which is incredible. Angel let us know that just before the show. I could easily have seen Harold Fannin getting a very similar nomination for that. The guy blocked well. He had several catches. They gave him a carry. He is definitely going to be an all-around absolute weapon for this team. And the thing people have to kind of keep in mind is those are the 2 youngest players on this team. Harold Fannin is just turned 21 the end of last month, and Dylan Sampson is still 20. So you have 2 of the youngest people in the entire draft. You picked them with the 3rd and 4th pick in the draft, and you're already seeing in only one game that these are 2 future foundational pieces, very likely, of this Cleveland Browns team. And I don't think that's an overreaction, because to me,
Yeah, it's definitely not an
there's no
overreaction.
reason to think okay, they came out and they made really big plays week 1. Maybe they'll disappear. Like, there's no reason to think that. They were utilized in all different ways, and they found all these different ways to be successful. And like those are guys that over the next 4 years of this rookie contract, you're going to be seeing a lot of.
That's why they're saving money now because they know in 4 years they're going to have to pay these players to keep them on their team.
A lot of them.
A lot.
I'm going to settle
of them.
this
Very
right
good
now.
draft.
Everybody keeps on asking why Angel's wearing blue. He's either an LA Rams fan or he is a Crip. I don't know which one, but
I'm a sellout. I'm a corporate sellout.
He's
Okay,
the
this is
All-State
sponsored
fan
gear.
of the year.
I'm Allstate, and I'm wearing our new sponsor, Lego heads. I'm all about the sponsor gear. This is free. Look at my cup behind me. See, it's subliminal messaging right there.
That's what I was throwing at you
Yes.
this weekend, Chad.
It's everything. It's just get
Those
you to
cups-
buy some Allstate insurance and then go to Lego heads and get a haircut while you're drinking out of your Allstate cup. You see, it's all
this?
it's all planned.
Tap Shack Kombucha, the #1 non-alcoholic kombucha brand in San Diego. Like,
Yeah, it's great.
Water.
Sure.
no, it's fine. It's
oh.
like, do you guys follow Lil Dicky, the end of that Save That Money video when he's got like all of the gear on? He's like, why
Yeah.
shouldn't I sell out? Like,
Yeah. But I want you guys to imagine the 3 rookies in the backfield. You got Junkins, you got Sampson, and you got Fannin as a halfback. What do you do if you have to goal line? What do you do? Who, as a defense, you thinking who's going to get the ball? Because any one of them could get the
and
ball.
that's where I
try to
think this
rush.
team can develop. That's exactly where I think this offense. I know Joe Flacco's past his prime. He's not going to be getting any better, but that's where this offense did not peak today, even though the Bengals defense is not very good, because we are finding these rookies who can. I love it. We are finding these rookies who have very little experience and are already carving out a role. And I think you can not only expand their role, but expand the playbook as they get more settled. And I think that is dangerous.
Yeah, that should be on the top of the list. So later on in the playbook, have all 3 of them in the backfield, goal line stance, maybe a tight end, Njoku there. You don't know what you're going to do. We're going to throw, we're going to run it, we're going to trick it. On to the offensive line, guys. The offensive line. What do you guys think of the offensive line? I know Jones had a bad, depending on who you ask, bad game this past week, but he was going against one of the best pass rushers in the league. So maybe we can give him a pass on that.
He did. And Mary Kay in her thing was like, he's going to come up with tougher than that. And I'm like, he was playing the sack leader for the last 2 years in a row. He is going to come up with other tough matchups, and I'll grant you, that guy missed most of their training camp, so maybe he's not his freshest, but it's also his first game in his new frame. He came off an injury. He's really just getting going on the left side. I think that was more of this will be a good chance for him to look at the film. He needs to improve his technique. This is a good chance for him to get better. I don't think we've seen the best of him, and I don't think he's a lock at left tackle. It's going to come down to how does he respond to this game.
Not only that, guys, he lost a lot of weight, so he's got to adjust his own body
That's a
to be
good
able
point.
to do the things that he was doing before. As unfortunate as that is, obviously the kid's not going to go back and gain his weight, but I think these guys that are coming at him are going to be like, hey, hit him low. He's 6'8", 280 pounds now. Hit him low. You got him. They got their number, but he's going to have to adjust to that as well. There's just things that
He was
he's
bad.
going to
He
have
wasn't
to do
good.
different. Right.
In a tough matchup, he wasn't good. He needs to be better if he's going to hold down that spot. But yeah, and on the line, he was definitely the weakest link. Wyatt Teller and Joel Bitonio looked as good as they've looked. They are back to being one of the most dominant pairs of guards in the league if they can keep this up. Again, we know the Bengals defense is not going to be their biggest challenge, but they both look very good. They came out pretty strong. Ethan Pocic played a decent game. And unfortunately, we lost Jack Conklin to a really fluky poke in the eye where he just couldn't see out of that eye, and they had to take him out for the game. According to Kevin today, he is going to be okay to come back out next week, and it's just a fluky thing where it was a hands to the face incident.
Yeah, let's hope. He's hoping he doesn't.
And Lucas was not great replacing him.
Yeah,
so we had
he
2
wasn't.
tackles that were not great, and that put the pressure on Flacco. And to me, if the line can come together as a unit and play better than that, I shouldn't even say we'll be better. They need to come together as a unit and play better than that.
Yep. With all that being said, we didn't have a good running game, but one thing that I don't think a lot of people are highlighting that I would like to highlight is that Kevin kept the ball for 35 minutes and 49 seconds, time of possession, without a running game
At all.
at all.
I mean, no semblance of a dangerous running
Nothing.
game at all.
And he kept the
they
ball, and that was the game plan
They
going
didn't stack
into
the
it.
box once. They
Yep.
were not scared of the running game, and they knew we couldn't run, and they just played us that way, and we still played a pretty good game.
That's going to be the recipe for winning, is the time of possession being as dominant as they did. Hopefully adding a run game makes it a little easier, and you don't get these interceptions that Flacco threw. On to the guy that everyone seems to be bashing, Smitty, the kicker.
Wait,
Wait, we got to talk about these
skipped a
wide
whole
receivers
section.
a little bit.
Oh, I didn't even see wide receivers. My bad. Oh, you know what? There is a line
That's
there. It must not be wide receivers. Sorry, my bad, guys. Wide receivers. You know what? They're forgettable because they lost us the game. Okay, because they're tips.
And
But
they
either
didn't
way.
have a very good game. I think
Yeah.
a lot of them made plays, and it was nice to see the ball spread around. It was nice to see Tillman come out there and play a little bit. It was nice to see Judy out there again because we know he can make big plays. I think this game is a game we're going to walk away with thinking the wide receivers are better and we win. They're
Yeah.
another one of the groups that were like, yeah, they made some flash plays, but they weren't good enough to win, and they're not the rookie group. They need to be better.
I think they're going to be a focus at practice this week for sure. Without a doubt, they have to be a focus on being able to run the routes correctly, catch the ball correctly. I can't put all this blame on Joe Flacco for the drops. They were there. They could have caught them.
No,
Just
I would say
happened to
one
be-
of them, the one to Judy that got
Judy
picked
was
off,
low.
he turned, and it wasn't just that it was low. He was turning. He was cutting right. He stopped and made his turn. Joe threw it left, so he had to like catch his momentum, dive the other way, which is not going to happen often. Joe's not the most accurate quarterback in the league, but this was not a good throw, and him trying to scoop it up is what led to that getting picked. It was not an easy catch to Tillman, but that was a more catchable ball. Judy, people are like, he got his hands on it, he's got to catch it. He only got his hands on it because of a desperate dive. Tillman was more of, you were going the right direction. He led you. You need to snap that ball up. And he didn't. And even worse, the two passes that were dropped that cost us a first down when it was like 3rd and 5 and 4th and 5, and we threw twice in a row. Both of those drops from Fannin, who almost never drops it, so I won't get on his case, and Judy, who does have a habit of dropping about one a game. Both those were directly in their hands, and they were perfectly placed balls. So even though they didn't lead to interceptions, they were probably the two worst drops of the game because they were perfect passes, and both guys just lost concentration and dropped them.
And what are the odds of the corner being, or the defensive back being right there when you get it tipped, right? It's like both times. One time, okay. But both times, perfect position, that was annoying.
Laid it up to him. It was just a layup. And the worst part is I've seen cornerback play for enough years in the NFL to know if you just threw that 10 times in a row and told the running back, I want to dive and tip it up, I would still think that the cornerback misses that 8 of the 10 dives, or at least hits the ground or something. Like the fact that both of those corners were there, and the fact that the ball got popped up to the perfect place, and the fact that they secured it, landed, and were able to roll and keep it from touching the ground, I was like, what are the chances that a defender is going to pull that off who's not named like Ed Reed? Like, this isn't like, oh, this is, Gardner John, this is Ward, this is like a top level corner. These are corners that, like, I just don't think they make those plays on repeat. And it's just like, what an unfortunate pooper that those receivers, between the two of them, dropped 3 balls, and 2 of them were like a 1 in a 10 shot of the defender getting it.
Yeah. So the Jerry Judy drop percentage scares me, so I'm going to read these off to you. 2020's first year is 18.8 drop rate. 2021, a 5% drop rate. 2022 went higher, 8.1% drop rate. 2023, 6.8% drop rate. Last year, it was as low as 4.4 drop rate.
Mhm.
So this
And
is
he had a lot of drops last year, but I was trying to make the point to a fan. Yeah, he also had 1,000,000 targets and
yeah,
1,250
that offsets
yards.
it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you'll get a little more drops if you're getting that many targets. But you're right, the drop rate was going down, and we needed to stay where it was.
Stay where
He
it
had
is.
a
Yep.
big problem with drops in Denver, and he had them here too. He dropped one a game, but like I can live with one a game if you make 6 catches and you get 80 yards. I can't live with one a game if you're not going to produce a big play to make up for it.
Agree. Anything else?
Obviously, we didn't see a lot of Jamari Thrash, my guy, this week, but just wait, guys. You got to figure out who your guys are. Joe Flacco's got a couple new guys that he's throwing to. He's got to get comfortable with them. I think we're going to see these receivers looking a little bit better next week and in Baltimore, to be honest. I really do.
Think Thrash is still a future piece. And if we played more, so just before we get off the offense, we played a league high on the league 12 personnel, which is back to Kevin Stefanski offense.
Yeah.
We played 12 personnel like 45% of the time, and we played 11 personnel just over that. So whereas most teams in the league are playing like a majority 11 personnel, we played nearly 50-50 11 and 12 personnel, which means an extra tight end is out there, which hard to blame having Njoku and Fannin out there in that 11 personnel. And as we find matchups where that's the way to go, that's where I think Jamari Thrash will start to make some appearances.
Yeah.
Now
So this. Go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, the snap count for Bond and Thrash were 21 apiece.
Yep.
So they got the same amount of snap count, and Judy and Tillman had 67 each.
Yep.
So that tells you where they're at. They see them two as number ones, the priority right now, and then the younger guys they're going to bring up.
I know this is a Kevin Stefanski offense, but you could see Tommy Reese sprinkling a little bit of his things in there as well, which I do like.
The Stefanski part of it was, what was missing was the run game. Stefanski offense is 12 personnel more often than other teams running the ball and then getting in some bootlegged play action with occasional trickery. I think where you kind of saw some of the Tommy Reese was they used players in unique ways that were that was what I felt like we were missing with the old Stefanski offense. There was some trickery, but there wasn't a lot of innovation. I think with Tommy Reese just getting started, I agree with you. Like you saw that this was not a bland or predictable Stefanski offense, but it had more elements of him where you can tell he's letting Tommy Reese bring it into the future a little bit.
Yeah. To add a little more to the offense, last year, the Browns used motion 37.9% of the snaps. Last year, that was ranked 31st in NFL. Week 1, they used motion on 70.5% of the snaps. That was third most in the NFL. The EPA, expected points attempted per play in motion, was 0.08. Without it, it was minus 20.22. So look for them to continue to use a lot of motion. I think obviously that's Kevin's offense, but that's something to look forward to. And maybe what Mike said, Tommy Reese's wrinkle is adding a little more motion into the see, because you get Flacco get to read the defense and see where to go with it. So
the biggest thing I like is play action. Obviously, coming out of this offense, play action works. We know this; it works. That's what I want to see more of. I want to see not too much trickery, but I want to see enough to where it's going to throw off the defense. Yeah. That's what I want. I don't want to see too many trick plays. This is the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. It's not, ha, 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 look what I did, ha, ha. Every once in a while, maybe every 4 games, pull off some weird trick play. Attempt it, but not often. Don't try it like 3 times a game.
Yeah. So on to the guy that we blame for losing the game, Mr. Andre Schmidt. Schmidt happens. Schmidt.
He said that in an Irish accent. I love it. Schmidt.
Schmidt caused us the game, missing an extra point and a field goal. So that is
PFF score was 28.8.
That's not good, folks.
I don't think I've ever seen a PFF score that low.
I've never
Yeah.
looked at one for a kicker until today. I was like, I wonder if they even score the kickers.
They do score the kicker, obviously.
Yeah, needless to
Lowest in the
say, it was a rough day for the kicker. He was interviewed afterwards, and he said he was
Mhm.
kicking toward the right, obviously. And he said that he's going to adjust that and see what happens. So they're going to bring him back against Baltimore, guys. So
I heard something about he rushed his approach. He's like, I
Yeah.
was rushing my approach to the ball when I probably didn't need to
yeah,
on those length kicks. And like, yeah, calm down. Nobody's gonna block an extra point. Just take your time and get it up.
Miles did. He jumped up and blocked it one day.
Yeah,
That was
nobody
like-
else has Miles.
Yeah, no,
You're not playing against Miles anymore.
True.
Maybe Miles scared him at practice. Who knows?
It's like, I gotta
Yeah,
get up there quick.
so a lot of people are dumping on the kid. They're saying dump the guy, but he's a rookie,
I'm
right?
torn.
He's a rookie, and I'm gonna give you a little something. Do you guys like Justin Tucker before the allegations? Would you want him on
Mr.
your team?
Automatic.
Yes.
I mean,
Well, I
Yeah,
mean, he
that's-
struggled the last year, but his struggle is like would be almost
Okay.
our best since Phil Dawson. So
Did you know that Justin Tucker missed his first 2 field goal attempts in a loss to Pittsburgh, 18-16, week 11 of the 2020, week 11 of his first year playing?
This is why we still let you on the show, Angel. These bits of knowledge that give perspective.
You know, I
Blow my
thought to
mind.
myself, I was like, you know what, this dude's a rookie. If it was any other position, we're like, he's a rookie. He's learning. He's a receiver. He's learning. He's a quarterback. He's learning. But when it comes to a kicker, we're like, he's done. I don't even care if he's a rookie. He's done. How about this, guys? We just calm down a little bit. I'm not trying to say he's the next Justin Tucker.
Here's
For
another
God's sakes,
warning
I
on
hope
that.
he's not.
And here's another warning on that too. I was talking earlier to Barry Shuck, and it led to an article at Dogs by Nature. They were going over the kickers from last season in the league, and I want to say either 6 or 7 active kickers from last year, and I still think there's 3 or 4 of them this year, were former Browns kickers that we cut because they
Okay.
missed a couple kicks. We cut them, and then several of them went on to continue for multiple years on other teams. And so the question to me is like, are we in the habit of cutting bait too early? And my biggest thing would be, I don't want to penalize this kid. Yes, he missed 2 kicks, and the part is that bothers me. We mentioned earlier, they weren't tough kicks. He missed easy ones, and that gives you pause. That's where I have trouble knowing like what to do. But I don't want to penalize him because Dustin Hopkins sucked last year, and we're like, he's just an extension of that. Dustin missed so many last year, and then in preseason, and then he missed 2. If we were coming off a good kicker who retired and he missed 2, I feel like we'd be more patient. But
Yeah.
because we're sick of seeing, just like with the quarterback, we're sick of seeing bad kicking play. So I think we've lost our patience with the kicker.
So it's not Cade York 2.0. I'm not going to call him that. Okay. We didn't draft this kid, but you do have one job where you just have to go out there and make a kick. And I understand. Listen, we went from now we have Max Unahara as our long snapper, Corey Bajorquez as a holder, correct?
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe there's just some miscommunication in that new setup because we had Charlie Hewitt on the show, and he's a great guy. Wish he was here still, but he's not, unfortunately. Charlie Cool is what we called him here on the show.
Yep.
But
Honorary
it's
bearded Brown.
yes, he was our actual first Brown on the show.
Mhm.
It makes you wonder. Like, obviously, it's his first NFL game as well. Like, it's a big thing for him. So mentally, I could understand that putting duress on him. But at the same time, man, you got that one job to make, like you said, a pinch shot. That's all it is. Get out there and do it, man. Do what you love to do. Kick that ball.
It's
Now,
all
the
it is.
reality, the reality for me is this conversation becomes a big picture versus small picture look. If you're looking at the Bengals game in a microscope, yeah, we lost that game because of him, and he missed easy kicks, and you want to make a change. If you're looking at the big picture of this is a team that I don't think is going to win that many games this year, are you scrambling to move on because this was you need every single win to make the playoffs. You know, if you're like a on the cusp team, like the Denver Broncos are like, we want to make the playoffs and we think we can, and we cannot afford to lose a game like they lost this week. Then you're like, you feel more of a scramble, because I see the Browns as a team where it's like that whole team is about building for the future, and Joe Flacco's not their future, but he needs to run an offense that keeps this whole team together and keeps balance for the defense and helps the offensive players progress and become good. That, I think, gives them a little bit of an ability to be patient, because I don't think they're a playoff contender. And so I guess I don't have the answer. I guess that's the only excuse I can think of where you don't immediately cut this kid and move on. What makes it a little tougher, to Mike's point, is the 49ers just cut a kid who also missed 2 kicks, but at least has a history in the NFL of making kicks.
Moody?
So
Yeah.
now you have a chance to bring him in, and you're like, who, or you have
Jake
Justin
Moody,
Hopkins, who had
right?
a terrible year last year, but you've seen him be good. Your question is, do you try to move on to one of those guys? I don't see you going to a total unknown. Or do you just sit with this kid and say, if a game like this happens again, that's probably it for you?
Yeah.
So we got comments coming in right now, talking about Corey Bajorquez trying to kick field goals pretty much, and I think just leave that job to him. He knows how to punt. I don't want to put him as a kicker. I wouldn't. That
might
guy
mess
is
up
one
his time.
special.
Might mess up something, right? His
I mean,
timing
you
or
struggle when you move your outside cornerback to slot corner. We talked about early in the
Yeah.
year. You just, I mean, I get it, but like that's such a precise job. Like it's just not that interchangeable. I
yeah.
wish it was. Borquez is one of the best punters in the league. Like I'll take that
Oh, yeah.
level of kicker.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, just give this kid another chance, man. Let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater just yet. Let's see what
I'm going to
happens.
tell you right now, if this kid comes in next week and hits a game-winning kick, we're going to be in love again.
Yeah.
Not again, but we're going to be in love with this kid.
We'll still be
If he
scared
misses it,
in Green Bay when he's
Yeah.
here in Green Bay.
Well, yeah, I'll be at
Let's move on to our player of the game, brought to you by Allstate Insurance. Doug White, Allstate Insurance. Give him a call, 440-235-8500. He is located at 8020 Columbia Road, Olmsted Falls. Give him a call and let him know the Bearded Brown sent you and get a quote. Actually, I'll be honest with you, he'll save you money because he saved me money. I'm working through some processes now to get some quotes approved by the boss, meaning my wife. I showed her some quotes, and he's saving me a significant amount a year. So I would just call. All you have to do is call. If you were at JB's, you could have got a beer and a quote. But instead, you just call and say, hey, give me a quote and see if it's cheaper. It's only 10 minutes. 10 minutes of your time.
Doug White saved you so much money. Your wife actually came on the show and called you daddy. So, yeah,
yeah.
guys,
hi, Dad.
give Doug White a call.
Doug White a call. Well, I was like, $200, I can go to our Disney trip. So the player of the game, guys, who are your players of the game or player of the game?
well, we know yours, Angel. You might as well start.
Yeah.
I know I put Joe Flacco. And I feel the reason why it's Joe Flacco because Dylan Sampson and Fannin would not have those numbers without Joe Flacco. So it's a quarterback league, right? So I put Joe Flacco. He was Joe Cool. He did what he needed to do to put us in a position to win. 3 receivers failed him by dropping the ball. Shout out to Peanut Butter. But yeah, I got Joe Flacco. That's obviously the gimme. Mike.
I'm sorry. I'm
distracted.
Peanut Butter.
It's a puppy party.
I'm going to go with Dylan Sampson, man. You come up in your first NFL debut and you make everybody aware of what you're capable of doing, whether or not be the running right off the bat, but for you to be able to break out of the backfield and make catches, which is crucial in this league.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be an amazing feat to see what this kid could do. I think, like we talked about earlier, having these 2 guys in the backfield is going to be insane. You're not going to know what to do. So I think Dylan Sampson, even though my Schlesinger jersey just came today, I'm going to go offense with Dylan Sampson and say that kid's going to be. I said it last week, guys, before we even watched this game. Don't count Dylan Sampson out just yet. Like, this kid has potential to be a great back in the league. So yeah, with that being said, old Dylan.
All right. For me, so I think both those are fair. I think Joe Flacco. My only hesitation on Joe Flacco was I think he can be better than this, and I don't think one of those interceptions was his fault. The other one maybe more on him, but fluky. But 295 yards and a touchdown. I don't think that's his absolute best game, but I think he 16th best quarterback in the league and good enough to win. That is what he can do. Dylan is totally deserving. Harold Fannon's also very deserving. For
That was
me,
a hard one.
I'm going with your jersey, and I'm actually taking Carson. And it's because even though I think again he'll have big games, I'm just overly shook by what we talked about earlier. Him being the 5th best linebacker in his first game ever to me is just so incredible. And so I would say all good choices. I'm going to stick with Carson Schlesinger as my Browns player of the game.
I think that's a great one. Honestly, the kid is on every single play. After the play, you see him right there on TV every single time he's in. I love the kid. That's why I got a jersey. I just hope that he can stay healthy as well as a young guy. That's one of my biggest concerns with this team. We actually have a new doctor, Chad, correct, on the team this year that's going to be able to, our fitness instructor and all that.
They have a new head of health and wellness, and yeah, he's got a big role to just oversee everything that has to do with the player's well-being.
So hopefully that'll be contained this year, the injuries.
Yeah. No injury bug. On to Brad Ward. Brad Ward we had on last week. He had an interesting take. We want to see we'll talk about what we feel what he said is right or wrong. His take was he would rather lose big by like double digits than lose the way we lost last week. I get that right?
Basically.
Yeah.
And
so
he had the
basically, I
conversation
dumbed it down.
with
I feel like he
had the
said it
conversation
smarter
with
than
Jake,
me.
and it came with Jake being like, the Browns, I mean, I hate to use them as a verb. The Browns this game. Like they Brownsed it. They had the win. They found a way to lose. And I think Jake was venting his frustration on how often that just happens where the Browns find a way to win a game where they're outplaying somebody else or where they have a chance to win and they just don't pull it off. And and Brad had just added essentially like it feels more painful when you are beating a team and you think you're the better team and you lose. And I had not thought about it at that way all day. And so I was curious, like, do other people see it that way?
Yeah, I feel
Mike
I
said
feel
he
like
did. Mike said he agreed. Like this heartbreaking losses when you feel like you should have win is incredibly frustrating.
and that's a tough one for me because I think I take both losses equally. But if you would have put a gun to my head, I would say losing a game like last week is a little harder because you think to yourself, man,
Yeah.
if only one or two things would have worked out, we would have won by one at least, right?
Yeah.
And but if you lose by 20 by the fourth quarter, 5 minutes into it, you're shutting it off and you say, all right, babe, let's go to a farm. So to me, and it's I guess it's easier to accept when you're losing bigger than you having your hopes there all game
Right.
thinking, oh, this is the last second, and then you're like the disappointment is just higher there because you
Okay.
have hope.
I guess I could see that. I guess the way I was thinking of it was just a little different. Like, I guess it depends on where you are as a team. And I was thinking more about where the Browns are right now. And I'm so used to them just being a slug of a team. Like last year, they were bad. So I guess I was looking at it as a way of like, if this being the first team of the season, us having a ton of young guys, if the Bengals just manhandled us, I'd think, oh my gosh, I thought we were like a franchise quarterback away from being a contender, and now we suck. I was thinking of it more as like, okay, yeah, we lost the game. We didn't get the win column. I don't think we'll get that many this year. I'm glad to see that to me, we look like the better team than the Bengals. And I guess I was thinking of it more optimistically, like okay, we lost it in a weird, fluky way that I don't think is that repeatable. I feel better about that kind of loss, though, because, like, you get a kicker that's making more kicks or your drops just aren't on 3rd and 4th and 5 or popped up for interceptions. Like, the flukes caused the loss, but overall, I felt like the team is a good enough team to win, and I guess that's why I was thinking of this loss as more optimistic.
Did you already go there, Angel?
Yeah, it's your turn.
He feels pretty
I
similarly to you.
I thought of Ace Ventura immediately after this loss. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things that we talked about it earlier. Again, you have one job. It's your job to go out there and make a field goal kick, whether it be the extra point, which I think is something that should be a given at this point, but it's not apparently anymore. At a 30-yard chip shot, whether it be right, left, middle, you're supposed to be able to make those. Angel, we actually still do have to do our field goal kicks, and if Chad, your weather's nice year round, so
You could go
you
out
have
there
no
any
you
moment.
have no excuse to go and
I
do
don't
your
have
field
any
goal
excuse
kicks.
except for the fact that I'm
You
sure
can
I'm
take
gonna
Katie
lose
out
something.
and have her film you.
Have her hold the
It-
ball or peanut butter. Hold it. Hold it. Hold it, peanut butter. I won't kick you in the
Yep.
nose. I promise.
It,
You, Katie, and peanut butter go out there,
he is
film.
good at, like, putting his hand on something for a minute. Oh,
There you go.
that's old.
I get to
gotta
see
line
the poodle just flying across the
Hunt
field.
him.
It's like,
Poor little
oops,
guy.
wrong,
Poor little guy. He
wrong.
doesn't stand a chance.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, Brett, yeah, it's just disappointing to me when you have hope and it's just ripped from you because of just Brownsy things. Like I think Jake said it, Browns
That is
being
the it
Browns.
is embarrassing. It's naturally
Yeah.
embarrassing. Every story is gonna be
They
the
did it
Browns
again.
blew it. Yeah, the Browns found a way to Browns. And
You could
so
follow Jamar Chase, and the Browns is the Browns, and we
Yeah.
did just that day.
You
That's
gotta-
all.
On to the next thing. Big bottom line, the bigger picture, right? So we talked about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We gave you some stats. We showed you some good things, some bad things. But how do you guys feel about this team after this heart-wrenching loss?
Optimistic. Optimistic. I do feel optimistic going into next week. I actually have a little fun stat here. The last time that we beat the Baltimore Ravens in Baltimore was in 2023.
Deshaun Watson.
Yes, the time before that
Comeback.
was 2019. 40-25 win. It's crucial to get this win, and we're going to talk about something else here shortly about why I want this win this weekend. I think there's plenty of optimism to look forward to. Honestly, like I said earlier, this team gels. I think there's going to be a lot more to look forward to for everybody. Wide receivers, running backs, especially once Judkins comes in. If Joe Flacco can keep his composure and stay where he's at right now, beyond week 5 and 6, I think we're going to be okay. Other than that, defense looks pretty damn good to me. I'll give them A minus right now. I'll give defense an A minus.
Yep. They were good.
Chad.
I don't know. I'm split. I think that game made me feel pessimistic about this year because you lost one you should have won. And if you can't beat the Bengals, it doesn't make me feel very good about all of the other teams that we have to beat, even if we do improve a little bit. The Bengals were a great matchup and a great chance for us to win. But interestingly, it made me feel more optimistic about the future because, again, there were so many bright spots on this team, and a lot of them were very young, which makes me feel like we're on the right team for coach. We're on the right track for coaching. We're on the right path for team building, and it's just about continuing to develop, putting it together, and then that thought of, like, when Joe Flacco's time is over, is there a quarterback on this roster in the future who we can win with? And it's not a very often time you leave a loss feeling optimistic, and I don't for this year because, again, we needed to win that one, and the next matchups may be even tougher. But there is a lot of good to come out of a loss, and that's rare. Last year, every loss there's not much good to talk about. We struggled to find the good, and we were finding like 3 bads and an ugly, but it was so easy to pick out the good. And so I feel like there is a lot to look forward to, even in this year, whether we win or lose, about who's on this team and how they can be a part of the future.
Yeah, I feel a little optimistic. I kind of what mix what Chad just said. Like I think the loss did. I did have them winning. Obviously, I think most fans did. I think what's encouraging is the
Homer.
fact that you had Flacco. You have Flacco, and he's a calm presence. Like I would be more worried if it was a rookie quarterback, and is this loss going to rattle him? Is this, you have that veteran leader back there. So it's like, yeah, the next couple of games are going to be tough. But if they can clean up X, Y, Z, if their kicker can get it right, if the defense can stay the way that they played, I think 5-6 wins is still in play for I said 6 to 8. Sorry. I said 6 to 8 still can come in because you occasionally, well, not last year, but sometimes you run into 1 or 2 games where you just beat a team that you shouldn't have beat, right? So maybe next week would be that team that we shouldn't have beat, and here we are sitting at 1-1 after week 2.
Yeah, speaking of that, like looking weird, Aaron Rodgers looked good. I was not expecting that at all. I know we're going to get into that here shortly, maybe, but just there's so much that's going to be different. Yeah, I agree. My wife went and bought me socks today. Listen, guys, so from TSC, they had a deal on winter socks. She brought me home black and yellow socks, and I'm like, I'm not freaking wearing these things. She's like, I'll take them back. I'll take them back. I'm like, no, my boots will cover them. We're good. I'll wear them.
Also something that we could talk about too, that Kevin's winning percentage after a loss is 21-9. So you have a coach that knows how to win after a loss. You have a veteran quarterback that obviously should know how to win after a loss. So hopefully they can gather the troops and win some games.
Win
these next time. Yeah. Next week's opponent is a good one. Speaking of next week's opponent, Kevin is the Browns under Kevin have won 4 out of 7 against these Baltimore Ravens. So that's encouraging. Though it's away, it's gonna be a little tougher. What do you guys think?
The 8th. Wait, there should be 10 under Kevin.
No, 4 out of the last 7. Sorry.
Oh, 4 out of the last 7.
Yeah,
okay.
4 out of the last 7. My bad.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
So I mean, that's a good percentage there. 4 out of 3. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So either way, next week's opponent is those Ratbirds up there in Baltimore. There's a little spice happening.
Man,
during this game
really grinds my gears.
Was this done intentionally, guys? They're celebrating 30 years of being in Baltimore against a team that they ripped from us, our hearts, and they're going to celebrate right in front of us.
The report goes.
So they're essentially celebrating. They're essentially celebrating in front of, while they play Cleveland, in front of Cleveland fans, stealing the Browns for 30 full years and putting us through this whole misery because this all came from that team being taken and everything having to start over and starting over poorly and never getting back on track. So they're literally just celebrating stealing our team right in our friggin' faces.
Let me put this in retrospect for you. This would be like all Americans getting together in front of a bunch of Indians and being like, yeah, this is it. This is what we're doing.
Native Americans.
You this is what you don't do. Like, these are things you do not do to Cleveland. Like, we're coming to your turf.
What are we going to do about it?
Exactly. But here's the thing. Like, you say you're a humble team and you're going to try to respect us when we come there. But dude, this is a stab right into the back. This is
who said that though.
This is what's been reported today.
They're not. There never have been.
I know they haven't, but to do it when the Cleveland Browns come there is the utmost disrespect I've ever seen. Do it any other week. You've got 17 other, maybe 8 other games. You could do this, but you do it when Cleveland comes to town for your home opener.
Yes, and
Oh,
take
dude.
To be fair, some of this is probably on the NFL because they made the schedule and they should have. This was a stupid place to put the Browns.
it. Yeah.
Well, I agree,
Yeah.
but that's why I hope we win. So there's other things. Obviously, Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl with the Ravens. So now, if you're Joe Flacco, you're there. You won a Super Bowl. You're obviously going to be one of their heroes. What do you do in a Browns uniform? Are you going to get booed? Are you going to go out there and tip your hat to the fans?
Yeah, he's
I
gonna
mean,
get
what
cheered.
do you are Cleveland fans going to get mad if he does reply to the Baltimore fans? That is a line I am happy I'm not a part of. And we'll figure
I
that
mean,
out next Tuesday.
I'm sure some fans will get mad. I would bet he would get cheered. That'd just be my hunch because he won them a Super Bowl. But I don't know.
And he banked on himself and got a big contract out of it. I mean, it's a
But
win-win
he,
for
then
both
he
of them.
fell apart after that. But yeah.
It's a win-win, man. Yeah, shout out to Baltimore for rubbing it in our face. We appreciate that. And there's no greater
Worst.
feeling than knowing that you
The
took
worst.
our team and then
He
you're going to
legit-
celebrate it. in front of us.
Flacco legit spent a decade with the Ravens. So
Yeah.
with respect, I get that where you gotta come out and you gotta do something. I'm not gonna be mad if he does. I won't be as
Do
a
you
fan.
think he'll put a Baltimore jersey on and just sit
Absolutely
on the
not.
side?
Nope.
I just think
Hey,
when
guys,
they
just
call
for
us out
5
of the
minutes, I'll
tunnel,
come
I think
over.
when they announce our lineup and they announce him, the crowd will probably like give him a cheer.
Right. And he'll
And-
tip his hat off or
And
whatever.
he may go out before game and give a wave, but I don't care. I
Yeah.
just
If he comes out in a
game
Ravens
I mean-
jersey next week, ladies and gentlemen, your starting quarterback.
I understand this
Dylan
upsets the
Gabriel.
fans, but I don't think it means. I mean, unless you're like in the locker room, somebody in the locker room telling the players what the history is. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think the average
And we'll
player
see.
cares.
The
Yeah.
players don't know. I think a lot of
Yeah.
the players. I bet if you ask
Yeah,
a
that's
lot
what
of
I
these
meant.
players that are in their first 5 years in the league, where did Baltimore come from? They'll be like, it's just always been the Ravens. I mean,
Yeah.
these are there's kids playing in the league that were born in the 2000s. Like they don't know. The
Yeah.
Ravens were the Ravens when they were born, not us. But
Can we quote that? The Ravens is the Ravens?
if you want, here's what
Yeah.
bothers me about the
I'm
game.
doing it.
And I don't want to speak too soon. Here's what bothers me about the game. And I hate giving props at all to this city or franchise.
They're good. Man.
Imagine what it would be like if they did a celebration like this in the face of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and that was the team playing them. I think
Yeah.
the entire NFL would be like, well, that's disrespectful. The Steelers are going to kill them. And I want to get to the point where I'm like, oh, they're going to do the celebration when the Browns defense comes to town. They're going to get annihilated. But I just do not believe
I agree.
Browns have that culture of like, oh, you're going to do your celebration today? You sure about that?
You sure about that?
You sure
You
about
said it
that?
perfect,
You
David.
sure about that?
Would you just look at it?
Yeah.
Will you just look at it? I think
But
that's going to
I
pump this
just
team
think
up a
that
little
like
bit more.
I hope so. I don't see
Yeah.
the Browns being the team that are like reactive to this. Their head coach is very even, which in a lot of times is great. In a situation like this, I want Schwartz to be like, take a look at this. Are we gonna let them like leave this celebration with a victory? And I want them to say like, if they do, they limp off this field. And I just don't see it. But I hope they surprise me.
I
Me
want
too.
to see angry football this weekend. I want to see. I hope they're showing this film in the film room because not a lot of fans know about it yet. But I hope that this is being talked about in practice. I hope it's being talked about in the film room. I hope it's being talked about all day long. Man, these dudes are doing a 30-year anniversary, and I hope they play like old Armo Dell videos at practice where we're going to move our team to Baltimore because I suck. I hope that
Unless
builds so much
you're
animosity.
Ward, I don't think you because the people from here would have a little feeling toward it. But if someone from California like Carson, he's gonna be like, what's that? What's that do for me? I
That's
mean,
kind of my point,
yeah.
though. Is like the Steelers aren't all from Pittsburgh, but if there was something that was disrespectful to the Steelers and to Pittsburgh on a game where the Steelers were playing, all you would see is 15-yard roughing penalties,
Yeah.
and the other team
Yeah.
would be limping off the field. And I'm waiting for the day where the Browns are. I mean, they're obviously one of the top defenses in the league, but I'm waiting for the day where our culture is you do not disrespect us or you pay for it, and we just aren't there. But
Yeah.
I can guarantee, even
They're
though
not.
our defense is not worse than the Steelers, I just don't. I just guarantee if the Steelers defense were out there, this would be a game where T.J. Watt has 4 sacks, a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and there's like 9 total sacks, and 3 players leave the Ravens on IR. And that's just how the game would go if this were if it happened to be that they took the Steelers franchise and they
Yeah.
celebrated in front of them. We'll see. Maybe they come out and they just play the toughest defense ever, and our offense just grinds. And I will eat my words. I will feel much better. I would love that culture of like, this is not happening on this day.
Yeah. Well,
And then that expands into other weeks as well. Because
yeah.
I think if you go to Baltimore and you get a big win in
Yeah, it's gonna be
Baltimore,
all the time.
you carry that with you throughout the rest of the season. That's a
sure.
divisional rivalry. So
You
that
lose to
could
the
be a big,
Bengals, and then you come back and beat Baltimore, and
That's huge.
that's the better win.
yes,
It's
Yeah.
just a better win. They're a better team. They put up
'Cause it
40 on
was.
the Bills.
A 1-point game. Yeah. I mean,
They're a Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah.
The Bengals
Well,
have a Super Bowl quarterback. The Ravens are a Super Bowl
team.
favorite.
Yeah. They are. They're set up to push. If Lamar just needs to learn how to play in the playoffs or win in the playoffs, right? But with that being said, I'll leave you guys on this note. How important is a kicker to Kevin's offense? I'll tell you. Good question. Kevin is 15, according to True Media Sports. Kevin is 15-6 in one-score games with no missed kicks. He is 8-15 in one-score games with 1+ point loss, 2 missed kicks. In one-score losses, one-score losses under Kevin, missed kicks have cost the Browns 2.2 points per game in most in the NFL. Get me a kicker. We got a quarterback. Get me a kicker that can get these points, and it shows statistics.
How frustrating it is. You finally get good enough quarterback play. I mean, like I said, it wasn't stellar. It was middle of the league, though.
Right in the middle.
300 yards and a touchdown, and he had like almost a 70% completion percentage. We got good quarterback play, and it's so annoying that we just flopped kicks and couldn't win.
And not only that, you have last year's defense was good, and it was understated because the record was horrible. Like the last year's defense, we had Dane Wolf on there. He was talking about it. He's like, listen, this defense was good last year. It was kind of historic. This defense is better. And if you're going to lose games because you can't kick, that's going to make losing worse every week.
Yeah, that blows.
do you guys, honestly, real quick question, do you guys think we should bring in Jake Moody?
I don't know.
That's like a small contract.
The only person to me that can answer this question, because to me, this is the situation. You are adding Quinshon Judkins, which means somebody from your active roster is going practice squad. You just solidified Ralph Holly. I don't believe you bring in 2 kickers. You could do a tryout, but I don't believe you sign another kicker. So are you going to cut Schmitty to bring in this guy? And honestly, I think the only person in the entire unless you're like, oh, I'm a kicker and I've been watching kicking for years and I analyzed it and this kid sucks, whatever. I think the only person that can really make that call to me is Ventrone. He's been watching this kid kick all summer. Does he think that was a fluke, or does he think, or rookie jitters, or does he think like, yeah, I was never super confident in him as it is, because like we talked about, like I usually have an answer, like I just don't have it. Like I don't know what to do here. Whether you cut ties and bring in somebody else who also missed kicks. I mean, he's not available because he had a good week. He also missed 2 kicks. Do you bring in another guy that just missed 2 kicks and bank on he has a better history? Or do you keep the guy you have and bank on he's new, so this missed kicks could be the only ones? I don't know.
Well, we'll find out in the next couple of weeks here.
Oh no, you'll find out Sunday because
we'll find out quick.
He's gonna get cut. He's not even going. He's not even come back to Cleveland if he misses.
I mean, I feel like I'm sitting on the fence and I'm cutting the answer, but I've never felt less sure of like any football question I've ever been asked. Like I have no idea.
Right.
Yeah.
And before we end the show, guys, shout out to Sam and his family. He's going through some stuff right now. He will not be here for 3 weeks to a month. But
Thoughts and prayers, guys. Thoughts and prayers.
Yeah.
he's doing something big for himself, and it's gonna work out. And love the dude, but he will be back. So just like Quinchon Junkins, he'll be back, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep.
Hopefully
Keep
better
him
than
in
ever.
prayers.
Yes.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting, liking, commenting, share. Please follow all of us. Please follow all our socials. Follow, go, hit that like and subscribe button everywhere. Our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Go support us, man. Let us know.
Real quick. Look what came in today.
Drinking merch. Yes.
At
Go
the
to Bearded
website.
Browns.
Grab
Go to
yourself some
Bearded.
merch.
Yeah. Go to beardedbrownspodcast.printful.me and get some merch, man. Comfortable hoodies, comfortable shirts. I wore my hoodie on Sunday. Comfortable, it's nice little Santiago breeze in the morning.
I had to say it. I had to say it.
It was comfortable. It was a beautiful day, and I wore my hoodie, man. So go. You can support the show too. It's pretty cool. So
Yes.
we'll see you next Tuesday. Hopefully, Victory Tuesday. If not, we'll be here for that Therapy Tuesday. Go. With that being said,
Go
Browns.